Garrett, let's talk about another blue blood, the Kansas Jayhawks, because the Kansas Jayhawks are going down to Austin, Texas. The last time they went to Austin, it did not go very well for the home team in that game. So the Kansas Jayhawks, 17-point underdogs. Texas Longhorns, 17-point favorites. 2:30 p.m. on ABC down in Austin. This is a very interesting game to me because I think all the attention is going to be on the offensive side of the ball, and rightfully so. These are two absolutely electric offenses, great play callers, and Andy Kotelnicki and Steve Sarkisian, of course, for Texas. I'm really interested to see how the defenses perform because Kansas' defensive situation, if you've been watching their games, it's much improved from last year. It was an absolute disaster last year, and no one really expected it to be much better this year. They were quietly 26th nationally, giving up under 300 yards per game. That's heavily inflated by the competition. I totally grant you that. But the eye test says that they're better than last year. They're tackling better. They've intercepted 6 passes, 26 in the country, like I said, in yards per game allowed. And they have a fantastic corner in Kobe Bryant, who I think is going to be a big problem for Quinn Ewers and the Longhorn wide receivers. He forced 2 turnovers last week against BYU, returned one of the fumble that he forced for a touchdown. Going to be really interesting to see if he can make life miserable, force a couple turnovers, and keep Kansas in this game. Now, the other matchup I'm looking at, one of my favorite offensive coordinators in the entire country is Andy Kotelnicki, because the way that he the way that he mixes up his scheme, the way that he incorporates elements of so many different offenses. He's got option elements, he's got spread elements, he's got power run game elements, right? He puts multiple quarterbacks on the field to confuse the defense. It's going to be fascinating to watch the chess match between him and Texas defensive coordinator Pete Witkowski. Obviously, Texas has the huge talent advantage. Obviously, the star power is on the side of the Longhorns. Obviously, they're probably going to win this game, right? But I think there's just enough questions on Texas' side. They haven't scored 40 points yet in a game. I think that's a big question mark for them. Their offense, I don't think, has put together a complete game. They were close against Alabama, but there were stretches of that. It's that first half especially where Alabama was really having a number on that Texas offense, and turnovers kind of helped the offense for Texas in that one. I don't think Texas has put together a complete offensive game just yet, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that no one has really stepped up and claimed that running back role, right? Jonathan Brooks has looked really, really good the last couple of games. High yard per carry number, over 100 yards the last couple of games. But as a whole, that unit has been slacking just a little bit, right? They've averaged more than 4 yards per carry only once so far this year. That was against Wyoming. And they've been held under 2 yards of carry twice against Rice and Baylor. So Jonathan Brooks, to me, needs to have a big game for 2 reasons. One, they need to keep the ball out of the offense's hands for Kansas. That's the recipe for a cover for Texas. Give Kansas as few possessions as possible, control the ball game with the ground game, and let Quinn make some plays through the air, keep it away from Kobe Bryant on the other side of the ball. I don't know that I've seen that yet from Texas. So for that reason, and because Kansas defense looks improved, their offense we know is going to be electric, and weird things happen when these two teams get together, I'm going to take Kansas plus the 17 points.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I'm taking Kansas plus the 17 as well. For me, this has a lot more to do with what Kansas is than what Texas is. I think Texas is a really good team. We both put them in our top 10. I think that they're going to end up pretty close to competing for the playoff, if not right in there, because who knows what the Big 12 is going to be and if anybody's going to compete with them. But I think this is a different Kansas team. I don't think this is the same Kansas team that walked in there a couple of years ago and surprised people. I think this is a legitimately good team for Kansas. I want to kind of break down a couple of the stats. Jalen Daniels is every bit as good a quarterback as Quinn Ewers, and I'm going to stand on that as long as I need to. He's got a 75% completion on the year, 705 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's in only 3 games. He's had some limited ability. He missed the first game, I believe. So that was part of it. Looking at the running backs, I wanted to break this down too. Devin Neal and Daniel Highshaw Jr. have combined for 90 carries, 7 yards a carry, and 8 touchdowns. They've got a real run game. And when you can run the football on the road, that really, really helps. And Trey already kind of broke it down. This defense is playing a lot better. Not necessarily overall with the numbers, but situationally, right?
Yes.
It's important to play situational defense, especially when you're going to have an offensive match like this, right? When you have two great offenses going together, who can get that one interception more? Who can make that one play on fourth down? Who can get in the backfield, get the sack, get the tackle for loss, and set the other offense just enough behind the chains that they force a punt in a bad situation, right? If you can do those little things, it doesn't matter if you give up crazy yards on the other drives, because you're getting the ball that one extra time more than they are. You're giving your offense a chance to go score one more time. And so I think Texas will win this game, but I think they'll win it by like 10. I think they'll win this game by 10. I think it'll be somewhat comfortable where Texas will be kind of out in front, and they're never going to quite let Kansas get back into this game. But I think Kansas is going to stick around and kind of make it uncomfortable for them. While they're kind of coming back, this could be one where at like halftime, it's, a 3 or a 6 point game, and then Texas kind of pushes them away. So I'm going to take Kansas plus the 17 with the Longhorns to win, but it's going to be a fun game, and I'm going to be locked in.
Absolutely. It's going to be, I think, the highlight of the afternoon slate for sure. Maybe a little bit of look-ahead syndrome for Texas as well, as they look ahead to the Red River rivalry game next weekend down in Dallas. And, I think if Kansas didn't have that little number next to the name, I'd be more confident in my pick for them to cover. I still think they cover. It would be easier to sneak up on Texas, I guess, if they didn't have that little number 24 next to their name.
I will tell you, I guarantee you that Texas is going to be doing everything they possibly can to cover Jared Casey. There's no way they're going to let Jared Casey beat him again. He's got 3 catches on the year. He's got a touchdown, but there's no way they're going to let him score again. They're going to bracket him if they need to. They're going to force him out the play. There's no way they're going to let this guy beat him again.
Casey legacy game incoming.
Gracious him. How about that?